Imagine that your journey begins on a legendary river, the Mekong. One of the world's longest rivers, it flows through 6 countries in Southeast Asia. You are in Laos, between China, Burma, Thailand, Vietnam, and Cambodia. Now imagine, as you glide gently past pristine forests and fishing villages, that from this princely river, you can travel back in time. And slowly, you return to the distant past. You are now in an ancient forest in northern Laos. You have arrived in Bokeo, the land of the long-armed animals, gibbons. This primary forest, which is more than 7 centuries old, is home to one of the few independent nature reserves in Laos. A forest whose interest lies in its canopy. That's to say, the uppermost layer of the forest, in the few meters where 80% of tree foliage is found and where plants synthesize more complex molecules than at ground level. In this timeless spot, men live in the trees and fly through the air. This primary forest conservation project is called the Gibbon Experience. It's the brainchild of a former overseas volunteer and French teacher, Jean-François Reumaux, whose sole aim is to preserve the forest.
What brought me here was my desire to achieve something in the realm of forest protection. And I'd always found there were few real results when it came to attempts to protect tropical forests. So I knew that I needed to find a different angle. And as a climber, I found a different angle by climbing the trees. We had to build tree houses. I thought it was the answer. And that's what we've done. Then we invented ways of getting to them. The zip line from the mountain over the forest canopy is an invention of mine.
Hanging structures or geodesic domes, every tree house is different. Each of these wooden units is tailor-made for a particular tree. They can accommodate between 4 and 8 people. And the idea is to live for 3 days above the forest, completely in the trees.
when you push yourself, let's two tires and the stomach, and have to push like this and put stomach and the crab in the bowl. It's better for you.
You know the way.
You know the way.
You know what you're doing, young man?
You know when do you stop? You have to grab the cable
first. Safety first. Thank you. Bye.
He's one hand on top.
I know.
136,000 hectares are now protected. There are just 6 tree houses on the edge of the forest, a kilometre apart from each other. The visitors come from all over the world, like this American couple who are travelling around the world for a year with their children. For now, nature is their classroom.
Did you see something? Oh, that's a beautiful. Look at that. That looks like some kind of kingfisher. The green with the red head. It's right here on this branch. That's a nice one. See it, Abby?
Right there.
Right here, close by. Sort of, they had to train the kids that you can't always see what you want to see, and so you have to be patient, and maybe you don't see it even though you've come all this way, but you look at other things. You enjoy the butterflies and the birds and the zip lines
And the tree houses and everything.
There's a lot of good stuff here.
In the information book, I read that they're gonna do like a few more tree houses around the edge on near the villages, and each village has control of a tree house, and so they can it's very good, a lot of jobs for the village people, and they can I think it's very good because there's more opportunities for them as builders and engineers and guides even.
Jean-François' project provides a source of income for several villages around the forest. It employs 50 local people full-time: canopy guides, treehouse builders, cooks, cleaners, and a dozen forest rangers. These men of the forest are also protecting the last gibbons, small apes whose whistling can be heard from a great distance. The black gibbon is mainly found in the forests of Asia. These primates are difficult to observe. Male-female pairs defend their territory with visual signals and vocal displays.
It's a population that I had identified, or rather discovered, observed, and which fascinated me. Then I managed, with a friend and his camera, to film them close enough to show them to the experts. Those gibbons no longer exist. This footage isn't real. We told them to come and see, and they came. The Natural History Museum in Paris. No, Hanover. And they were gibbons that had supposedly died out in the 1950s. which are slightly different to other gibbons that are not yet extinct.
You are back on the Mekong, heading south to the pearl of the Mekong, Luang Prabang. And your journey becomes more spiritual. You have arrived in Luang Prabang, the former royal capital of the Kingdom of Laos, the heart of Lao culture, and the country's spiritual center. Rebuilt and restored countless times, this small and timeless city was declared a UNESCO World Heritage Site in 1995.